Introducing Thomas and Ballan. Welcome to Dimensions Creating Characters. So, these two are a time-traveling duo along with a time-traveling dog as well, because what's a story without a time-traveling dog? You know, why not throw it in there? But yep, let's see here. So first off, for Thomas's story, he comes from a planet very similar to Earth, but back in the time when trains were, we'll say still in development, weren't a regular thing. People were still developing different sorts of trains and the stations and everything else, and he was a pioneer in this. In fact, so much that he created the first one-of-a-kind time-traveling train. So a very interesting concept there. But yes, so he created his own time-traveling train. He made two. It was a prototype, which he was sort of working on, and then there was the market version, which he was going to reveal at a convention or a show. But before he could reveal it, it was stolen by a villain, which will be introduced potentially very, very soon in a new Creating Characters episode. But yes, this villain stole his train. Now, he didn't know who this villain was, and eventually he just thought that it was some regular train robber, so he was like, fine, whatever, he'll just make a new one because, you know, whoever stole it probably wouldn't be smart enough to actually use it for anything, except the person who did steal it was actually quite smart. In fact, they were, of course, trying to mess up the timeline. So, in comes Ballan, who is a interdimensional imp of sorts. So this species are able to jump in between different terrestrial planes and levels of reality and everything else, but this is definitely a much younger imp, so his powers, short to say, are not fully developed. His dad is one of the Time Lords, which is why he even is supposed to be interacting with time at all, and he wants to prove himself, so he decides to help out or more so guilt trip Thomas into helping him track down this villain messing up the timeline. So he was like, okay, well, if I can stop this villain, I can prove myself to my dad. So yeah, that's his story. And of course, Thomas is like, oh, it's not my fault, some random train robber stole it. And Ballan's like, well, actually, you know, your story did make something that can mess up the entire timeline, so you're kind of obligated to help. Also, because he can't really time travel, he's like, just use the train that he has that can time travel. So lots of stuff there. But that basically gets him started. So this is enough stuff to actually fill its own series, to be honest. Just like these two going off on their different adventures and arguing, becoming best friends, all the other good things. And of course, Thomas has got his own train crew as well, so that's a whole thing. But yeah, I'd say short to say, they are certainly a dynamic duo, and their goal is, of course, to save the timeline, sort of in the background of the Dimension storyline, while Guardian fights Count Void and the Phantom Empire and all that stuff going on. You usually see these two like in different episodes in the backgrounds or whatever, just running about trying to stop this other villain quietly in the background, potentially leading to something very, very catastrophic. But yep, that's the characters. So I guess on another note, I'll add that these, even like other stories that weren't Dimensions per se, these characters have always kind of existed as, oh, you know, different time travelers doing things in the background. So I finally actually made them in a Lego form. And yep, here they are. Let's see. And if y'all have any ideas of what this weapon could do, I built it, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what this weapon here would do, or a tool. It's sort of like maybe it freezes time, or it freezes one person in time. That's kind of what I'm working with now. But y'all have any ideas of what this tool could possibly be? Let me know in the comments section. I'd be very curious to see what y'all come up with. But yep, that's his weapon right there. And of course, he's got, they both have magic gems here. Thomas has his own gem staff here, and then Ballan has a bit of a ring situation going on. And I did mention before that time travel is not possible with the regular gem magic system that exists now, and that's so even though I have the gems, it's more so for protection. The way they're actually doing the time travel stuff is through these, it's through a different device, not the hourglasses specifically, but just through different devices. But yep, so let's see, gotta get this together here. We've got the dog as well. This is just Thomas's dog who just tags along. Figured it'd be pretty fun to have a dog on the adventure. Always nice to have different pets tagging along on the crazy antics. But yeah, there we go. Bam, bam, and bam. Thomas and Ballan along with their dog. Now I'm going to show them to you guys up close. And here we have Thomas, Ballan, and their dog. By the way, if y'all have any names for the dog, leave those in the comment section too. But yep, thank y'all so much for watching. As always, tune in next time to see more characters, and have a great rest of your day.